Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Personal Development and Training. My name is Wendy Morgan. I am your host, and I'm a Senior Presidential Director with Lifewave. And these particular meetings are basically so you get to know your leaders that are within Lifewave. We address issues and problems and also give you solutions and support to help you traverse through life and make and thrive with your life and thrive with your business. So with that, today's topic is basically how can you continually move forward and continually thrive with Lifeway business, even when you're not maybe necessarily receiving the support that which you desire from your friends, family, and or spouse, or from anywhere else within the external world. How do you traverse through those particular obstacles? So today I have a special guest to actually address this actual topic, and you guys all know her very well. Her name is Susan Allan. Many of which of you know her from her monthly Zoom events with Marcy and Susan, the interviews that which she has with health experts, doctors, athletes, all who have fantastic results with Lifeway for themselves and for the clients. Susan is the founder of the Heart Space Solution. I don't know if you many know that. And she also is the sales forum offering a unique and proven tools to clients around the world for the last 24 years. So I'm excited to bring her on so that she can help. We can both talk about how to keep moving forward with your Lifeway business no matter what, so you can discover some new tools. And with that, Suzanne, want to say hello?
Hi, everybody. I'm Susan Allan. I'm thrilled to be with you and thrilled really to share this with you.
Oh, it's so good to have you on here today, Susan. We've just kind of, touched base for the first time. We just learned that we live in the same city, which is crazy. But you guys are not here to hear about that. We're here about what to do. So, Susan, for someone to be affected by external forces that kind of bring them down or deflate their own balloon as such, or release the wind out of their wings, where does that start from? What kind of background work can you kind of give people as far as why this might be happening in the world?
Well, the reason that we are triggered by external things is we haven't trained our mind. I used to be triggered all the time. I've spent 50 years and a literal $1 million studying with masters in America and India so that not only never happens to me anymore. I teach, as I said, thousands of people. If you've heard me on my Zoom, I give a little hints of it, but really I don't speak about myself. It's your focus, it's your intention to get out of that trap. Then some of the skills I'll talk about today get you out of that trap. And free videos of mine are available in 5 different places. I offer free one-on-one sessions. I've given 10,000 of those literally in 23 years. So if you want to learn how to stop having that miserable torture of having a negative thought show up in your mind and carry you off God knows where, I'm the one. I'll show you how to get out of that.
That is awesome. Thank you for that intro with yourself, because you guys, Susan is amazing. She's a wonderful coach. But let's kind of just jump in. So Susan, I'm just going to let you kind of take the reins, because you know our topic, yes, where we're going with this. Yes. And people are like, they get so discouraged, when they're trying so hard to do something that they know is feeling their heart, something they need to do for themselves and for the world, but yet they're not getting the support. So I'm just going to let you take the floor, darling.
Okay. There are 4 different ways that humans think based on Herman brain dominance, which is one of my specialties. So you can be some of each or none of 3 and only one, but you want to really hear this. And when I'm doing a training like today, you want to take notes. So if that means you have to run away, get a pad, get a pen, I encourage you to do it. So there are 4 different ways humans think, and this is how we motivate ourselves to get back in the game. So some people are visionaries, a world that works for everyone, nobody left out. You've heard this. We want world peace. Okay, that happens to be what motivates me. It's not right. It's not wrong. There are people who are motivated because they love their family, they love their friends, they love their children. They'd walk through fire for them. To some degree, that resonates with me, but it's my secondary thinking style at this point in my life. Now, the reason you want to think about what is most like you is I'm going to explain some of the secrets of how to remotivate yourself, get back on the horse, so to speak, and produce results. The third one is winning is big, money is big, success is big, ego is big. Again, not a bad thing. These are people who usually have a lot of money and a lot of success. So who can fault them, right? So that's a third way of thinking. The fourth way is you like safety. You want everybody to be safe. You want to organize things, plan things. I am also that way. I planned everything today, and then the Wi-Fi service in my neighborhood was supposed to upgrade yesterday. It upgraded today. I ran around like a chicken without a head for 2 hours with a neighbor. We got it working off of his phone, in his home, all of that. And then suddenly Wi-Fi returned. So here I am back where I wanted to be. But you've got to be able to be that safe thinker. That's a valuable strategy because things happen, they go sideways. And I don't just mean when your mother or your spouse says, "What's up with this Lifewave thing?" Whatever it is they say that triggers you, whatever the world throws at you, you want to be able to bring yourself to peace, refocus on your purpose in life, your goal, your determination, and produce results. And literally, if that means for you saying silently, "I don't care if they agree. It doesn't matter if they agree. This is my mission, my purpose." Now, if it's your spouse, if it's your partner, then you have to make sure that you are consistently participating in whatever agreement you have with your partner. I'm not saying you just wake up one morning and say, "I'm not paying my half of the mortgage anymore because I want to buy a lot of patches and give them away." No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that whatever agreements you have, you keep your agreements and you expand yourself. Remember, we have neuroplasticity, which means, in simple words, we have the ability to change our brain. We have the ability to build neural pathways. Neural pathways are what allow me to calm myself in the face of no internet. And by the way, I'm doing a masterclass in Europe later today for 5 hours. I'm filming it. Or I was thinking of that until, there was a little crisis. So it wasn't only Wendy, who's a doll, and I could have gone over to her home and we could have done it there. It's that I had these 2 back-to-back commitments. So that's how life is. The very first moment you notice that you feel frightened, angry, or scared, that's the trigger, right? Now, it doesn't matter which. And I don't even need to know which when I work with somebody one-on-one. They have to identify for themselves. Brain breathing is my tool that is the fastest to get to peace. And if you email me at susan@susanallen.org, and I'm ALLAN. So if you email me, I will send you the link to the video training. I'm going to do it right now because this is how people survive car accidents without a scratch on them. This is how people, yes, Wendy. I need to hear you.
Sorry, I tapped on mute, but it didn't take it. I said, can you please repeat your website so I can put it in the chat for everybody?
Of course. I actually didn't say that yet. I just said the email, but I'll give you both. And I'll give you my cell also if you want to text for it. The email is susan@susanallen.org. The primary website is Heartspace Solutions with an S.com. Heartspacesolutions.com. My cell, if you want to request the video in that way, 818-314-1200, 818-314-1200. Thank you, Wendy.
And then it's Susan at susanallen.org, correct?
You got it. Thanks. And if you've watched the Zooms that I've been doing, these now 36 Zooms, then you know that I also ask people if they want the 12 pain relief protocols that I've gathered in these last 2.5 years, if they want the Micah Clark 8 specific localized patching protocols, and if they want the all patch poster, because a lot of people never got that one, you can request that as well, because I send that out to everybody all the time. And email for those. Email is essential because they're on my laptop. Okay, so understanding that your job is to learn how to self-soothe when you feel frightened, angry, or sad. This is the most important skill you could ever learn in life, in my opinion. Because in a crisis, and we've all, at a certain age, we've all been through at least one crisis. And certainly there's been an international health crisis ongoingly for a number of years. So we know that we have to keep our wits about us. If we're going to make the smartest, safest, most practical decisions and basically get out of here alive, we've got to keep our wits about us. So brain breathing is what I always recommend. And I'd love to teach it now, Wendy. It's about a minute. Okay, cool. So you can do this any place, anywhere. Don't wait for the crisis. Don't wait for something terrible, frightening, learn to do this right now today. Then you'll forget. So you want to write it down, ask me for the video so you have that and you can really master it. And if you master this, honestly, you can be highly functional no matter what. And as I said, in life, if life is long, things happen. So the first thing you do is you have to notice you're frightened, angry, or sad, and you know that it isn't serving you. Now, I teach people how to localize the pain and deal with it during a 30-minute period each day and get it out of their body and out of their head, but that's not what this skill is about. So with this skill, first you take a deep breath in through your nose, both nostrils. Then you hold it to the count of 3. And then you let the breath out with your mouth rounded and make a whoosh sound. And when I'm teaching this over the phone, I say, no, I need to hear you. So let's do it 3 more times. And again, please. And finally, and make those holding breaths slow. Thank you. Now, that activates the parasympathetic nervous system. This gets you into alpha brainwaves. Alpha brainwaves are actually what I teach during my Motivating Rapidly program, where people have a huge goal. They don't know how in the world they're going to reach it. And so with various tools and skills of how you manage your mind and how you think, listen, speak, and act, things happen faster. And the first step to all of that, alpha brainwaves. So brain breathing gets you there. Now, I think, Wendy, you have some questions from people. Do you have questions? Or you?
Not yet. We'll take questions a little bit later. So you just continue with the subject. I think this is excellent, giving some great tools, learning how to realize what triggers you, getting out of the old habits of allowing it to take you down that, like a ball headed for where, and rechanging your habits, to this breathing, perhaps rechanging your habits of how you react, how you respond, going back into the space of you and why you're here, why you're doing the things that you're doing, acknowledging what you're being triggered from, which you said was usually, being frightened, or you're angry. And again, that breathing technique will help you get past that trigger. Yes.
Exactly. Now, if you want to be really successful, and I've been teaching sales for 50 years. I started in the fashion industry. I was a kid. I designed all these things. I needed my sales teams to do the best possible job selling them. I started teaching them how to sell. So we got to $750 million worth of products that I designed in 23 years in that industry. So I'm telling you, these skills work. You know, if you're interested in success, they work. If you're interested in changing the world, they work. If you're interested in transforming and evolving yourself and your family, they work. And if you're interested in bringing in a lot of money, because sales is the most lucrative career anyone can have, and you don't even have to finish college to do it, then again, this is a huge motivator, but you have to control your mind. That's where it starts. Then you have to learn how to listen differently. So one of the things that I teach is based on nonviolent communication. It's based on whole brain thinking. It's based on the fact that I'm a certified mediator. So this is not fanciful things. This is not something I woke up in the middle of the night and went, oh yeah, let me convince them to do that thing. No, this is based on the way the human brain functions, the way the human ear listens, the way we speak, listen, think, and act. So when you feel derailed, and we've all felt that, you know, it could be because of something drastic, heaven forbid, or it could be that somebody that you love is indifferent to your goals, critical of whatever you believe in, and believe me, you know, you get to be a certain age, you've heard it all before, and you've heard it all like 1,000 times. So you have to reposition yourself. Remember why. Why am I doing it? That's why understanding where you fit in those 4 different thinking styles is key. Now, if somebody really, really wants a world that works for everyone with nobody left out, and I've been in that game for, 50 years, I got to tell you, it really doesn't matter if I'm in the mood or not. Give me an internet connection. That's all I need, and I'll do the rest, right? So what is your level of commitment? I guarantee that if you knew all the things that I do to produce the results I produce, you would be shocked. You'd say, oh, I don't want to do all that. What if that's what it takes? What if all the things that I do, getting up at 6:45 this morning, running to have my hair done, coming back to what was supposed to be a perfect Wi-Fi day with my brand new laptop and my fast Wi-Fi and every other piece of equipment you could imagine, which I'm looking at. And then boom, unbeknownst to me, and you just keep doing it. You keep doing it. You keep looking for solutions like that little frog that keeps churning the milk, hoping you get butter so it can leap out of the pot, right? You just keep going. But how do you motivate yourself to keep going? Well, you have to train yourself not to really hear all that negativity. You have to train yourself to translate that negativity into what they're feeling and needing. And that's based on nonviolent communication. So if somebody says to you, oh, that's nonsense, that will never work. So probably they don't have enough information about the tens of millions of dollars that David Schmidt put into the inventions. They don't know this is a $100 million company. They don't know that he launched this business in my own friend's living room about 21 years ago. Yeah, I found that out after I was already a brand partner for a couple of years. Oh, well. So that's another reason to tell everybody, you don't want to be in that situation. I said to her, what do you mean? And you never told me about it. So you just keep looking at what are their needs. Just as we've talked about your needs, one of those 4 categories, that's true for all humans. So some people I speak to, and believe me when I say, I speak to prospects. I am fully prepared. I'm fully prepared to do this today with you. I'm fully prepared for every phone call I ever make. And I'm a professional communication trainer, but still, I am fully prepared. Why? Because that's what works. That's how people get results. I don't see people getting results if they show up late, they're unprepared, they haven't taken the time to think about who they're speaking to. I don't think that works, right, Wendy? No. So this is a crucial thing. What does your friend or family member or neighbor or coworker
Right.
care about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Denise, would you please mute yourself? Thank you, Denise. So it all depends. And in fact, any of you who's not muted, please be sure you're muted. So it doesn't matter which of these 4 categories someone falls into, but either they want to get involved in Lifewave because they have a health crisis. So that means you need to be fully educated. And, you know, Marcy and my 34, 35 now videos that are already on my YouTube channel with all these healthcare experts, doctors of every flavor and stripe, they're going to get you the education, but you have to be ready to go. You have to memorize it. You have to be someone who can pick up the phone because your friend's calling you back, and maybe you don't have your script in front of you, but you have enough to say until you get your script in front of you. So being fully prepared. Now, maybe someone doesn't have a health issue, but they just are older like me, and they want to make sure that they give their body and their brain every chance to be as healthy as possible, live as long as possible. Well, you have to understand about that. I've spoken to a lot of people who don't realize that carnosine is the patch for the older brain. Yeah, you use the X39. Yeah, you use the Eon. And you also want to have those people use the carnosine. Or maybe the person has other health crises, serious issues. Well, you want to make sure you go on the Telegram app, you look it up, you've got the Zooms ready to tell them about, to send them the links for. You're prepared. This is how you build your business. And it also is like pulling down all the negativity, because when you are grounded and you know what you're doing, and you know the Lifewave products, you know the Lifewave business, and you've taken the time to get to know people who are really successful, like Wendy and Marcy, then you have a great, great opportunity yourself to build a huge business. It makes all the difference. And the event that I'm doing over the next 3 days, it's for one of my brand partners, who's one of my friends. She lives in France. Her downline is in France and in Hong Kong. And we are doing a huge masterclass for ice skaters, because she's got 6,000 ice skaters, ice skating coaches, and ice skating parents in her email list. So boy, didn't I like jump on that one. So you never know where the bigger difference you want to make is going to come from. You never know what group or person that you really care about is going to need and want your help with Lifewave. You never know where the big financial boon is going to come from unless you prepare yourself, you do your work, and you're organized. So that's why all 4 aspects of brain function are key. And now I want to talk about something called the switch cost. So let's say you're listening to me right now and you just say, oh, I don't know, I don't think I could ever get there. She's been doing this for 50 years and, you know, I'm not going to live that long or whatever, you know, whatever story you're telling. So we need to get you an understanding of the switch cost, which is what we have to agree we're willing to pay to change our results and change our action steps. So if you know someone who needs to lose 100 pounds, they've got to make some radical changes in their diet and their exercise routine, obviously, right? But they can't pretend it's not going to be challenging. In the beginning, they're going to need either somebody to have food delivered to their house so they're not looking in the ice cream aisle and the pizza aisle, or they need somebody to help them, which is usually a coach, a physical coach, to get them out, get them moving. But if someone understands that, they have a goal, they want to live longer, they want to be healthier, they want to feel better, they want to look better, then there's an understanding. They have to make some big switches. Same is true if you want to build a big Lifewave business. You're going to have to make some changes. Now, I'm coaching 2 people right now in Lifewave who have huge goals. And I don't mean my other brand partners. I'm coaching these 2 people who are very ambitious. They want to really do well. And I'm doing a Lifewave masterclass for them because I've been in direct marketing for a long time. I had a hiatus where I wasn't actually a brand partner in anything, but I was still training people. And before that, in the 1990s, I had 3,000 people in my downline. My former husband and I were the first distributors of an imported scientific-based company, and we became the most successful. We became the Diamond Center. So, I've been at this a long time. So you have to reframe yourself. And as I teach these 2 really smart, really ambitious, really caring women, they understand, they weren't devoting enough focused time to their business. So if people are criticizing you, it may be because you're not bringing in enough money, right? They see you working hard, but now I'm saying you need to work smarter. I am not the working harder person. I'm the working smarter person. I used to run my business in the fashion industry. I told you how big it was. I used to run it from any one of a lot of 5-star hotel pools in Asia, because that was the lifestyle I enjoyed. So I would be sitting by the pool all day. I'd work with my factories for about an hour a day, and I ran this fashion empire, so to speak. Okay. So if you want to work smarter, listen to what I have to suggest. So it's about focusing your mind, not allowing negative thoughts to interfere and intervene, literally pushing them away. I have 6 other skills that I teach for self-soothing. But today we're focusing on brain breathing because you need to learn one thing and practice it before you can learn a second thing. As you start to discipline your mind, you will find that you are more focused. As you prepare yourself for these calls, you'll see that more people are wanting to use the Lifeway products. Your certainty, your delivery affects everything. So you're basically the cause and the cure of your results. You can look at people who are senior presidential directors like Wendy and Marcy, and you can make up a whole story about why they are and you aren't. And I guarantee the stories are not true. What Wendy and Marcy and other senior presidential directors have in common is a burning commitment, not desire. That's a start. Desire is a good place to begin. A burning commitment. Now, Marcy pretty much is at this 7 days a week. I don't know if she sleeps enough. I doubt it. And she is the lower right brain person, the tribal person who loves her tribe, loves you, loves you, loves you, loves you. She's perfect for direct marketing because the more connection she has with other people, the happier she is. If that's the way you think, you're lucky. I don't think that way. So I have to find other ways around it. Like the event I'm doing today with my brand partner in France, because she's a person who loves the 1,000 people around her. That's why she had 6,000 emails of ice skaters, ice skating coaches, and their parents. So I've got the knowledge. I've got the training. I've got the longing for a world that works for everyone. You see how I linked that for you? Everybody's not the same. We're not all the same, but that's okay. As long as you figure out what you're really good at and you make sure you're really good at it, again, you have to study, you have to learn, you have to practice, you need mentors, you need support, then you will be able to have the bigger business that you desire. If you're only doing this for money, it's tricky. It's really tricky because direct marketing is a people business. So you want to then find a partner who is a real people person. That's very helpful. And you do need the admin work, the lower left, safety, organizing, planning that I said was my secondary way of thinking. So somebody's got to do the admin. When I was so successful in direct marketing years ago with my former husband, I did all the admin and I did all the sales trainings. And he made 46,000 phone calls a week. And somebody had to do it, and he was great at that. So you understand, like any business is divided up into 5 different sections. So you've either got to be an entrepreneur, as I am, doing it all myself and figuring out a way to love it and coming in with brand partners, etc., to do certain things and make it bigger and bigger. Or you've got to bring a partner in, a legitimate business partner, and share your brand partnership with them in some way so that you get this done. And if you're someone who goes down the rabbit hole emotionally into fear, anger, and sadness, now you've got the tool that will get you out of there. And it's based on neuroscience. It's based on alpha brainwaves. It's based on real science that gets you from fear, anger, grief, when it's not helpful, not useful, not practical. And yeah, you can put it on the back burner and you can deal with it later, but that's not who you can be when you've got a really important phone call with a prospect or a brand partner to make. You've got to get yourself in the best state of mind. And in fact, when I was speaking with my dear friend with whom I'm doing this masterclass, she said, but you're doing this other one. Are you going to be okay? I said, I can always be more than okay. She said, well, she's a client of mine as well. She said, well, teach me. How do you do that? I said, the power of your will. With the force of your will, right, Wendy? No matter what, there's going to be a way. It's going to happen. I am standing on my word. We have to stand on our word. That's a big part of life. I will tell you from, all the decades I've been around that again and again, miracles appear to come out of nowhere to support me. And yes, I've asked the 5 key people who might be able to help. That's always smart. And yes, I've done whatever 25 different things I can do that I know that can help. Yes, that's always smart. And then somehow, by the grace of God, a miracle appears. Now, this can include the brand partner you really need in order to get the big commission that you really need in the time you need it, and the person can come out of nowhere. How many of us have been working with prospects for a long time, and then suddenly that person has a situation and calls and says, Susan, what was that thing you were telling me about? My mother has this horrendous pain and you told me blah, 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 blah. Well, yes, exactly. I actually have a brand partner who didn't need it, didn't care, wasn't interested until she had an accident. And then she still wasn't interested and didn't need it and didn't care because she's a healthcare specialist. And then her solutions didn't work. And she was in extreme pain. And after like 2 weeks of being in extreme pain, she happened to get one of my e-zines in which I was promoting my latest show, and boom. And now she has 2 brand partners that I worked with so that they are getting out of their pain. So you just keep at it, but you keep at it in a prepared way with the best skills you can bring into it. And, that's what all my Zooms are about. Once a month, we do a Zoom with somebody who knows more than we do about usually the health aspects of it. We've also had a couple of athletes, serious, amazing athletes. And so that's the key. Learn from the experts. That's what I do. Practice doing what they do, repeating what they do, repeating it the way they do, and getting better and better and better in order to really, it's about meeting your own needs. Whether your needs are you and your family to have a better life, health and wealth, whether you and the entire planet having a better life, because we're in 100 countries. So I have brand partners in a lot of other countries because, as I said, I used to live in a lot of other countries. It was exciting to me. Whether that's important to you, whether the money is going to give you a new lifestyle. The money, and particularly now with what, we've all gone through for your couple of years, the money is always a welcome part of it. Maybe you're wealthy, maybe you're not. The extra money that you earn from Lifewave commissions is a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's a form of love that you get from the people you've helped. If money doesn't matter to you, look at it as love. That's how I look at it. And then your whole body and your whole brain is evolving from these products. I could speak for 10 hours about the changes I've seen in my own body and my own brain in 2.5 years from Lifewave products. It's astounding. And sadly, tragically, I'm an effective salesperson. I'm an effective communicator. I'm a pro in both. And still we have the right to say no, don't we? Everybody has the right to say no. And I've watched the people I know who said no pass away, end up in the hospital, not doing well, lost their cognitive function. I went really to the wall in my best and most persuasive way to have them take a look at what this could do for them. Everyone won't. Some will, some won't. So what is an old sales adage? Some will purchase Lifewave. Some won't purchase Lifewave. So what? In sales, you have to really control your mind. And by controlling your mind, you are helping yourself and helping more people. It doesn't mean I don't care about those people who don't have functioning anymore in their body or their brain. Of course I do. And anytime they want to hear about it from me, what they can do to save themselves, as they walk to the edge of the cliff, I'm their girl. However, there's an entire world out here. There's a world of people who are interested. And here's the most important thing I learned in direct marketing in 1994, the first week into direct marketing. All right. So imagine a seesaw, draw it on your pad, and imagine the center of the seesaw. We call that the fulcrum, and that's you. Now, the tendency when you're new in direct marketing is to think of everybody who's in worse shape than you and introduce all those people in worse health and worse financial shape and worse cognitive shape to Lifewave. And guess what? It's a very simple answer. Don't. Now, if you're a great salesperson, you have a chance, you have a shot at it. But that's the hardest person to motivate. So what's the point of making your own life more difficult? What's the point of working for weeks and weeks to motivate one person when you could work for weeks and weeks and motivate 40 people? That's not advanced math. That's pretty basic. So what you want to do is think of the seesaw, think of yourself as the fulcrum. You're number 5 out of 10. The people who are in worse shape in health and finance and cognitively are 4, 3, 2, 1. The people who are going to be much more likely to go, wow, that could work for me. Yes, it can. It absolutely can. Wow, explain it to me. I sure will. Let me, I'll do the quick version, and then you have questions, we'll do the long version. So those are the people who are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, everybody knows a few of them. Most of us are related to a few of them. Most of us have neighbors who are a few of them. Most of us went to school with a few of them. Maybe you married one of them. Maybe your children are a couple of them, right? Those are the people. But now, of course, you can't approach somebody who's really smart and really successful if you're like, oh, I don't know. That's what the 3-way call was invented for. But actually, I don't do 3-way calls anymore. 3-way calls are great if you enjoy them. I don't do them. I'll tell you why. And this may resonate with you. 3-way calls were a big thing in the 90s before we had Zooms, before we had cell phones, well, I think I had a cell phone in 1994, but it didn't have any of the bells and whistles that they do now. So 3-way calls were essential. My former husband was a clinical psychologist. He was a genius. He could memorize anything that he saw or heard. It was really frightening. He could memorize anything. Well, I certainly can't. Most of us can't. It would take me 10 days to write a script for a sales training, memorize the script, get ready to deliver the script. I would give him his script. He'd look at it, got it. I said, what do you mean got it? He said, I got it. I said, I don't understand. He said, and then he would just do the script. Okay, well, most of us aren't like that. But I prefer, in my own brand partnership arrangements, said, tell your friend Barbara, I'll explain everything to her. And Jane, you don't have to memorize all this stuff yet. You do it in the speed you can. I'll speak to Jane. When Jane decides she wants to buy the products, I'll sign her up under you. Everybody's happy. It's a win-win-win thing. It's fast. It's easy. But listen, you've got to make sure that you're studying this. You've got to make sure you're learning this. You've got to make sure you watch my Zooms. They're all on YouTube after they're live. So I'll be able to help you for a certain amount of months. But you want to be able to do this soon. How does that sound? And they go, oh my God, that's incredible, because I can't memorize the products and I can't memorize the compensation plan and I can't memorize all this right away. Of course you can't. But I want to get somebody who's a brand new brand partner, who's really excited. So that's the program I developed. I'm not saying anyone else should do it. I'm saying that's what I developed. So it's about how do you keep going no matter what? And so that's a great way to keep going no matter what. If you're signing up brand partners and you don't see that they're signing up enough of their own brand partners. So you do more instead of doing less. And this is a great strategy, because the woman I told you about, who's a healthcare professional who became a brand partner after she injured herself, then she was using the patches. Well, she was still in recuperation. But I wanted to maximize the fact that she had all these clients who were her patients, clients, whatever. And I didn't want to wait until she felt better and could figure this all out. So that's how we got 2 brand partners very, very quickly. And more to come. Win, win, win. That's the deal. So Wendy, any questions?
I think this is a beautiful time to open it up to the floor. To anyone who may have a question, just go ahead and go at the bottom of your screen and go to reactions. And I believe that's where you can raise your hand. Go ahead and raise your hand so we can call on you, because I'm sure we got plenty of questions for Susan. She has so much knowledge. And like she said, she could be here for hours. Yes, she's just stock full of so much information.
And if you get your question asked and answered, you will have a bigger business by the end of the day. So that's the reason whenever you're with anybody who's a trainer, raise your hand, ask your question.
So does anybody here have any issues, specific issues that they would like to traverse through? That's a good question right there. Well, I know this was a hot topic for everybody, and maybe you're just, I mean, not maybe, I know you're that good, Susan, but maybe you're that good that you just answered everything.
No, I'm sure it's a courage thing usually in these Zooms. So I really encourage you to, it's just us, it's just us. Ask your question. If you have a friend or a relative who you really love, who's not yet using the patches, ask the question.
We got
If
Debbie.
you,
I'm sorry, Debbie Kelly is raising her hand. Debbie, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Susan.
hi,
You were excellent today. Gave a lot of information. Almost didn't leave any room for questions to be asked. But yeah, I'm in a spot where I'm having a difficult time. I've signed up a couple of my family members, but I don't get out a lot because I'm depending on a wheelchair right now. And I'm not real up on the internet either. So got any suggestions of?
I always have suggestions.
Good.
Anybody, I always have suggestions, yes.
Open to.
So, and your
any
name is Debbie?
Debbie, yes.
Okay. So I have never met most of the 170 people in my downline.
Mm-hmm.
I've never met them. I've spoken to them strictly on the phone.
Okay.
I don't have the time or the energy to do a gazillion Zooms because I had a TV show for years. So for me, a Zoom is camera ready, hair, makeup, etc. So I'm not doing that all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do this over the phone. Now, you can do this at home. You can do this over the phone. You can be very successful. You may need me or Wendy or your upline to create a script for you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to take my email down, now I know you said you're not, the internet's not that easy for you, but if you take my email down and you send me an email, I am delighted to help you with this. So
Okay,
it's Susan, SUSAN, at Susan, SUSANALLAN.org.
Got
So
it.
I've got videos, I've got documents, I've got me personally, I've got, everything in the world. But person specific is the best way to learn how to sell.
Mhm.
So what would work with your brother might not work with your, nephew.
Right.
Probably won't. It's person specific. So Debbie, if you have a person you'd like us to talk about and have me make some recommendations, I can do that right now. And you can just give me any old first name. It doesn't matter.
Mhm. Tara.
Okay. Now, the first thing you want to do when you prepare yourself to talk to anybody, and look, I've got my own pad and my own pen.
Mm-hmm.
So this person's name is Kara, yes?
Tara. T.
Kara.
T.
Tara, thank you.
Mhm.
And about how old is she?
40-ish.
And what health issue does she have that you may be aware of?
Thyroid issues.
Okay, great.
Back
And
knee
sorry?
issues. Thyroid, back, knee.
wonderful.
Mhm.
Okay, so if I'm calling Tara and I'm you, and of course you start any conversation with, 3 minutes about personal stuff to create rapport. And it could be someone you haven't spoken to in years or someone you spoke to last week. So you obviously know how to do this. She's a friend of yours.
She's a family member, actually.
Family member, perfect. And when you finish the catching up part,
Mhm.
then you say, I was thinking about you, Tara, because I was just listening to someone speak on Tuesday. And she was talking about these 12 pain relief protocols she has with the Lifewave patches. And she herself is a very competitive swimmer. She swims 60 laps a day. That's me. And she's 73. That's me. And I've had a lot of serious injuries, including I pulled my shoulder, and 3 chiropractors and one famous energy worker could not make the pain go away.
Mhm.
I was desperate. And that's how I started collecting these 12 pain relief protocols. So you'd give Tara some abbreviated version of that.
Mhm.
So I would love, now, does she live anywhere near you, Debbie? Does she live across the country?
Yes, she's 10 minutes from me.
Perfect.
She's a daughter-in-law.
Okay, perfect. So I would, and if you're in a wheelchair and you don't like running around, which makes sense, I would love it if you could come over in the next couple of days. I want to demonstrate how the pain you've had in your back, the pain you've had in your knee may absolutely disappear from these Lifewave patches, because that's what Susan told us. And Susan has helped hundreds and hundreds of people herself. And it's a remarkable thing. And just in case you don't know, and then you go into how they're non-transdermal and nothing goes into your body and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Now, Tara may say no, but guess what? The next time Tara is like, oh, right?
Yeah.
She's going to be thinking about you, Debbie. Now, you may not make the result happen in one phone call. Remember that sales is a process.
Mhm.
So call her a week later.
Mhm.
Invite her over for coffee, tea, a drink, whatever it is. Whatever's going to motivate her to get out of the house and come see you. And you don't even have to say anything about Lifewave until midway. I mean, if you're giving her a martini or something, she's relaxed, or you're giving her some herbal tea and she's relaxed, or a cake, she's in a good mood. It's like, oh my goodness, don't move. And then you go into the room with your patches, you bring out your patches. By then you will have emailed me. You'll have the 12 pain relief protocols. You will have printed them, Debbie. I always recommend you hand them to people in a printed format.
Yes.
And put the 2 Eon in the kissing position on her back in exactly where she tells you it hurts. That's the fastest one.
Mhm.
That's the one where in 5 to 10 minutes, pain can be gone. So
Mhm.
if you want to wow them, that's the one I recommend. Now,
The 2
for the
Eon?
knee,
Sorry.
different ones. Yeah, go ahead.
You were saying 2 Eon?
Yeah,
Kiss?
2 Eon kissing, which means
Okay.
the edges are touching, not overlapping.
Right. And then you use the ice wave besides.
Nope, you're gonna email me for the 12 pain relief protocols,
Okay.
and I'm gonna and everybody else who wants them will, and then you'll see your 12 choices, and you'll make your decision. I think that the most effective way to get somebody's attention is the kissing protocol that I used on my shoulder. Because as I said, 3 chiropractors couldn't fix me, and I went to a couple of them twice each.
Mhm.
And this world-renowned healer who eliminated asthma for me and brings people back from the dead, that couldn't make my shoulder feel like a normal shoulder, but the 2 Eon patches did.
Awesome.
So does
This
that answer
girl-
it, Debbie?
Yes, but what I wanted to say also is this girl is an entrepreneur. She and her husband have a rental business. She is going nonstop 24/7. She doesn't sleep good too. And so I did just share patches with her. I sent her a Valentine gift, but I have not heard anything. So she's hard to track down. She's always busy. She's got 2 active children, and to pin
Wait
her
a second.
down,
Just 1 second. You sent her a gift and she didn't call you to thank you?
no.
So, I have a very specific point of view about gifting patches,
Mhm.
which is that I believe it's important to confirm that the person is excited to receive your gift.
Mhm.
I think it is an essential part of that. So now the gift of putting 2 Eons on somebody, that's a gift. So if they allow you to put 2 Eons on their body, you know that they are excited to receive the gift.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
I encourage you all to have the skills to communicate in such a way Because otherwise it's a lot like throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping it will stick. And that can leave people feeling very disappointed as brand partners, you know?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
in the case of Tara, you have to follow up. And again, invite her over. If she's too busy, then that's a challenge. But bottom line, you understand from the training I just provided about Tara that there are a lot of other people in your life you can do this with, you know?
Yes.
Even not her. Okay.
I'm the one that needs a pain relief big time too. I've been chronic for like 25 or more years.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Please email me for the protocols, please,
I will.
because they work. And you have to email me today.
I
And I'll
will.
send it today. Okay,
I
good.
will. Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Okay, we've got 3 more people who have got some questions for you, Suzanne. So Marlene Merchant, why don't you unmute yourself?
Yes, hello. I just
Hi.
wanted to tune in and I'm so glad I did. And anyway, so I know it's important for me to I love the seesaw thing. So I know the people on that other side of the seesaw are the ones that need to be reaching out to. It's just part of my story. I tell myself, well, you're in a really tiny area, very small area, and it's, who are you going to go see? So then I think, well,
Wait. So you heard me say, I've never seen most of the people who are my brand partners,
Right.
who
Yeah.
I personally sponsored. I've never seen them. Okay. So that's a story.
Well,
What's
I
the
know
next story I can unburden you of?
Yeah. So I'm thinking of, is it a good idea to go like door to door type of
No.
things to,
No, you're not going door to door. It's not safe. No.
well, I meant
We're
like
talking
healthcare
about,
professionals and the gym and stores and things like that.
it's
Okay.
not practical. You know people. If you don't know enough people, then join a church, join a women's group, join a something. If you don't have enough people in your own contact list on your phone, then that's great. You need more friends. You need more acquaintances. Join a group, okay? But be safe. Don't. And, it's very important to understand that if you're going to approach a business, then you would need a lot of training. You would need a connection. Cold calling is not something that you do unless you're a practiced, skilled, trained salesperson.
Oh, I'm not.
And there's no need to. No, obviously. And there's no need to. So join a group, a women's group, a church, something like that, where people will be thrilled to have you with them. And you'll show them how amazingly energetic and with it you are. And you'll explain how. It's Lifewave.
Okay, thank you. Sure.
You're welcome. And Imelda, what is your question?
Hello. Oh boy. Now I thought I had the question. You brought up so many other things. It was okay. Let me
That happens.
Oh boy. But I appreciate what you were saying about approaching a business, because my friend and I were needing a lot of experience as a salesperson. So I'm gonna let her take the lead on that because she does have a lot of experience. But I guess I'll go with my first question. I feel fairly comfortable approaching family members, friends, close acquaintances, but I have like 300 people on my LinkedIn contacts, and I feel I'm wondering how to maybe approach to share this with some of those people that maybe I haven't been in contact with for quite a few years. Or is that
So let's talk
300
okay. That divides up into a couple of different conversations. Okay. So I have thousands of people on LinkedIn I've never seen, I've never spoken to, I don't know them. Are you saying that the 300 people are people you actually know?
Like 80 to 90% are, yes.
Great, yeah. So then that's just as if you would handle any other friend. And if you know them, then you have a phone for them and you have an email for them, right?
Well, some of them are people I worked with, so they're not necessarily friends.
But you do it, I would divide it into people I have contact info for and people I don't have contact info for. If the only contact info that you have is on LinkedIn or Facebook or Insta or any of the other social media things, which I use all of them, then it's really about creating a presence for yourself as an expert on this thing. Now I've got, as I said, I've got 36 videos on YouTube. And I've got a lot of them posted on my LinkedIn profiles. I have 2 LinkedIn profiles. So you probably want to post different things. You can share mine. You can go to youtube.com/Susan Allan 2001. That's my Lifewave, that's my YouTube channel. Then you can see that there's a playlist just for Lifewave. It has all of Marcy and my shows that we've done for 2.5 years. And you can share them, and you can share them to your own LinkedIn profile. You can share anything onto your LinkedIn profile. I'm just telling you what I do. And that positions you now as somebody who knows about this thing called Lifewave. And then you have to say something fascinating and captivating with each of the postings that allows people to know, okay, this is something you believe in, you're strong in it. And then you're going to send messages on LinkedIn to these people who you actually know. Hi, Bob, it's been so many years. I remember that you were a big sailor, you loved to sail, and I just wanted to tell you something that and it's amazing for athletes. So always a personal.
Great. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I'm a big ice skater, and it's funny you said that because one of the coaches, she just started a whole new thing, so I'm sure she also has a lot of people in her contact. So
okay, this is really crazy because, Imelda, you have to get in touch with me. You have my email, right?
Yes.
Did you write it down?
Yes.
Okay, you have to get in touch with me because the masterclass I'm doing today and for the next 2 more days is for ice skaters, ice skating coaches, and their parents.
Okay. Okay.
Part of a 6,000 email group.
Okay.
And I bet you would love to meet some of these people. They're all over the world.
Yes.
And this is really fun. So
Okay.
how wonderful that you raised your hand. I never would have known otherwise. Okay. So
We'll email
making sure that it's person specific in your message.
you.
People say, oh, that takes too long. Well, guess what? Throwing spaghetti on the wall and having nothing stick, that's really frustrating. And that takes a lot of time because you do that 50 times and you get no results. What's the point? If you're person specific, you remind Bob where we were together, where we worked together, and oh, I know you love golf, or I know your wife does this, or whatever it is. And you've got 300 of them. So start with the ones who are the closest relationships to you, and then work your way down the list to the least. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm
right.
looking forward to more from you.
All right, Diana, please unmute yourself. What's our last question for today? Diana, please unmute. There you go.
Here I am in person. Thank you, Susan and Wendy, for the opportunity to just listen to you and all this information. So it's really interesting. My share was going to be regarding a cold contact. Pretty much, I ordered products through a lady who has a wellness store here in town, and she delivered the products to me, and I shared at a point Lifewave with her. I asked her if she was open to, I have the whole dialogue in my phone. So this was like a year ago. And she said, yes, I'm always open to new technologies. Tell me more. Then I told her, and it's just been this whole string of dialogue.
What did you tell her?
Me sharing it with you.
Well, can you give us the 2-minute elevator pitch? Because if somebody said I'm open and she's in the right business, you know, so my guess is there's something that you want to add to the pitch. So can you give us the pitch?
I could only not like right off the top. I just know there's been many transactions over the
No, I
years,
mean your
you
pitch
know,
about
back in-
Lifewave. No, I don't mean her. I
Yes.
mean, what's the pitch you would give? Because listen, here's the thing. If I say to somebody, give me your pitch, and they go, wait, then okay, go back and practice your pitch so that it's like you could be awakened at 3 a.m. I could tap you on the shoulder and say, pitch me Lifewave. And you go, oh, Susan, I am so excited to tell you about the most. So that's what I want you to be able to do. Now, if you, obviously, I'm, putting you, on the flames without any prep. So it's probably that you need to add something or subtract something from your pitch.
Okay.
Because she's the perfect person and she said she was open to it.
Yes.
The only reason my supplement provider isn't in my downline is she's the one who David Schmidt launched the business in her living room. She's the one who's been using Lifewave products for 20 years. So that's the only reason she's not my brand partner. She got there before I did.
Okay.
So think about it. This woman owns a store. She has hot and cold running people. They all want better health. Reorders is the name of the game. Write that down, everybody. Reorders. Anybody can sell you one Rolls Royce. They make the commission, they're done. This is a reorder business. Anyone who is in direct marketing needs to be in a reorder business. Otherwise, don't bother. This is obviously a fantastic reorder business. Every 30 days, I need more of each of the patches. I use every single patch. So Lifewave loves me, right? And that's who you're looking for. And you want to make sure that your pitch is altered. And Wendy can help you, I'm sure. And whoever your upline, the most successful upline member, they can help you. Do you have another question about that?
No, I just have, I mean, I listen to Lifewave stuff all the time. So like one of the Dr. Stacy, I've listened to her and she will say how she will share things with people and then she'll step back. And then if something comes to her, she'll share it maybe without.
But she's yeah, but remember, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
And I've had 35 doctors, etc. on the show, but I'm not a doctor. My father was a famous surgeon, but I'm not a doctor. So I don't get my training from the doctors. I get my training from the words they use about the products and about the health benefits. And when I say that, John Harmon was my guest twice. And one of his shows, I think, has had 4,000 views so far. One has had 1,700 views so far. He does these presentations all week long. He goes here, there, and everywhere. And he does these presentations. But I can't say I'm a doctor and therefore you should do it. I can say all these doctors have told me why they have all of their patients using them and their clients using them, but you've got to make sure you have your script down. I don't know if you've written your script. If you haven't written down your script, if you are not recording it in your iPhone, if you are not practicing it and delivering it to yourself in the mirror, you're not ready to do your best.
Okay.
So I teach actors. I teach singers, I teach performers. I'm a performer. So these are the kinds of things you have to do in order to be ready. And then you can walk into a store, and even if the person isn't ready to buy that day, you've really done a chunk of it. But you have to sound like you really know what you're talking about. You have a tremendous amount of confidence, and you're right there ready to go. So I think it has to do with your presentation. You need to add things to it. You need to subtract things. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Cool.
absolutely.
Cool. And
All right.
you can listen to, any of my shows, not from what the doctor says, but you can listen to how.
Just got a little froze. Just give her a minute. So after she comes back, we are going to be closing this down as it is coming close to the hour and 15 minutes. We don't want to overshoot too long. hopefully she'll be coming back. But since I have the time and I have you guys attend, next Tuesday, we're actually going to have our personal development. You know, what makes the person tick? What's been going on into their world that has made them who they are? What have they moved through and traversed through? And guess what? It's going to be Susan again. So Susan and Allan will be joining us next week again, but on a complete different topic, on a complete personal topic of her own story, her own life, what makes her who she is and how what she traversed through. So basically all of us can benefit and learn what she did to become her. So therefore some things we all may be able to associate with and go, oh my gosh, I'm going through that right now. You know, oh, this is what she did. Great. I'll try that for myself. I think her internet here in Santa Barbara, we have Cox cable. It's shutting in and out. I have a funny feeling they just shut it off on her area once again. So I'm just going to close this out. Be sure to join us next Tuesday at 12:15 Pacific time. And we're going to, like I said, be joined by Susan Allan on a personal development aspect from hearing her personal story. So with that, I thank you so very much, everyone, for joining us. And I know Susan would say, thank you, Sarah, very much for joining us. In the chat, I'm going to share it one more time if you haven't had it. Her heartspacesolutions.com, her telephone number, and also her email. So therefore, if you'd like to contact her or get any one of her free videos as to how to improve and do things, you may definitely reach out to her and receive those things. So again, thank you so much for everyone for joining us today. Take care.